Well, I'm here as an educationalist from UNESCO. I'm in the section for education in post-conflict and post-disaster situations. And I was summarizing the need for a holistic approach to the integration of DRR within the education system. Now, within the Hyogo framework for action, we're generally referring to education, or the role of education is the use of knowledge, innovation, and education to build a culture of safety and resilience at all levels. However, this can actually be somewhat more complex than this nice catchphrase captures it. And it's important for us not to see education just as a mere panacea that will solve all our woes or all our problems regarding DRR. Now, generally, we would consider the goals of the integration of DRR into education as being three. That is to save lives and prevent injuries should a hazardous event occur. To prevent the interruptions to the provision of education, or to ensure its swift resumption if it's interrupted because of a hazard. And finally, the third goal is to develop a resilient populace that is able to reduce the economic, social, and cultural impacts should a hazardous event occur. Now, in order to incorporate DRR within education, we generally refer to a typology of three programmatic interventions. One is the incorporation of DRR within the curricula. That is, we teach DRR. But in order to achieve this, we have to make sure that teachers have the proper capacity development, that the proper curricular reform takes place, that is introduced into textbooks and so forth. So this is generally what we see as creating a culture of resilience through what is learned. But in order to achieve this, we actually need to introduce DRR at all levels, from the level of policy and management through to the structure of education, standard operating procedures and guidelines, what to do in the event of a hazardous event, how education can swiftly be resumed, and finally create guidelines that can be enforced through legislation and whatnot to ensure that schools are built according to safe guidelines so that they don't collapse, killing our teachers and our students, effectively our children. And so it's essential that we consider the capacity of an education system as a whole, not just the curriculum, but the capacity of the managers, the education planners, the policy and guidelines within the education, as well as the physical infrastructure to absorb and integrate our initiatives for disaster risk reduction and prevention, and to ensure that we follow up initiatives with the appropriate capacity development and long-term sustainable development for DRR in order to see that it's integrated at all levels within the education system.